Alrighty, folks, let's return to Ask Ian and finish off page 2 and get into page 3 this time. Agent Glint asks, what do you think you would do if you were no longer writing the Sonic comics? At this point, I'm not sure. There's a lot of personal projects that I want to get started on soon, but in terms of what I would be doing, I have no idea. Right now, I'm doing well with Sonic, I'm enjoying Sonic, and I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. Dews asks, I'll understand if you don't feel that this is the right time to talk about this. Uh-oh. But since we've now seen all of the clans, seen their leaders, and we have been shown how they operate, I was wondering what the inspiration was for their creation, their individual beliefs, and the brides. In part, the inspiration was just general Japanese and Chinese and Far Eastern Cultures. I will admit that a bit of the inspiration comes from the recent Iron Fist comics by Marvel Comics. What can I say? They did a really good job revamping the character. But in terms of figuring out how each clan operated and what the brides were named and how they were based off of the information that came before in the book. For instance, the Gossamer clan, the first we saw was Uma Arachnis. She was kind of mysterious. She seemed to be working multiple angles. First she's with Nagas, then she's with Kodos, then she's working with Sally. So the Bride of the Endless Reach and the Web of Fate kind of spun out of that. The Yagyu came from an old Monkey Khan story where they were shown to be a bunch of sneak thieves. I decided to do something a little different with that clan and have the Bride not be available. And it was nice because we'd already seen the Yagyu Lord presented, so that gave me a way of presenting some kind of leadership outside of the Bride, which meant we could open up the Bride position for the Iron Queen, which spun the rest of the storyline out of that. The Raiju clan is entirely inspired by Lightning Lynx, who in turn brought me to the Japanese myth of the Raiju, which is a lightning monster beastie thingy. And from there, we got the Conquering Storm. Figured they would be a little more proactive, a little more violent in their ways. And then with the Shinobi clan, which is a nod to an old ninja game series by Sega, we have Espio the ninja, we have his mother, which is Constant Vigil, and considering that they're supposed to be, sneaky and watching from the shadows, I figured Constant Vigil would be an appropriate name. Fun fact about Constant Vigil's design is she is from a very, very, very old fan character idea I had back in middle school, and decided to trot it out, clean it up, make it, usable, and that's where that comes from. Everyone else was kind of spur of the moment kind of design. Fruits Punch Samurai, who has one of the most fun names on the forum, asks, what are our chances of seeing an Amy-centric Sonic Universe story? In the immediate future, not Amy-centric, but the solicits for Treasure Team Tango just came out, and Amy will be a very prominent character in that story. Moving on to page 3, Tonberry2K asks, if you could make some kind of super Freedom Fighter team of 7 of the existing Freedom Fighter teams, not Whole Chaotix, Dianda, etc., who would be in it? I can't pick something like that. There's too many fun characters to be had. I mean, what's the purpose of the team? Is it infiltration? Is it seek and destroy? Is it just be as insanely cool as possible? There's too many possibilities. There's too many variations. I just can't pick. The Swordsman asks, in a previous Ask Ian, you said that it would not be possible for Metal Sonic to have a personality and character depth unless Eggman started caring for a specific model and stopping it from being destroyed. However, couldn't Eggman make the AI retrievable so that it could just be uploaded to a new body? The primary reason I'm answering this question is to make it an example. This is not how you ask me questions. The way this is worded, it is now a fan-submitted idea, and it's the kind of thing that I am uncomfortable working with. Because now, if we were to introduce Metal Sonic with a retrievable memory core, then it becomes, oh, well, Ian didn't come up with that. That's the Swordsman. Ian is ripping off the ideas of the fans. Don't ask me questions like this. Please, 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 please don't do this. To answer your question, it's not that it's not possible within a canon sense, it's more within a story structure sense. And personally, I think Metal Sonic is creepier if he's this mass-produced, mindless, soulless killing machine that just happens to be on par, or maybe even beyond, Sonic. If you give him the personality of, I want to be better than Sonic, he becomes another Shadow, yet another Sonic clone that's trying to prove that he's better than Sonic, and we've got that in Shadow, we've got that in Scourge, we've seen it 100 times. Poe the Panda asks, I don't know if you're allowed to tell us, gasp, but has Sega asked you to do a Sonic Colors tie-in? Yes, they have. I have seen the pencils for it. It is glorious. Tigsy asks, Ian, I need to know, did Dimitri and his side of the family inherit the Guardian Ring or not? Kim Pinder says he does not. Fans are confused. I'm confused. For the sake of artistic clarity, please help this fangirl out. Without having really researched the subject, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, say I don't know. I would say that Dimitri has the ring, or had the ring when he, had a body. But I can't say for certain who after him would have it. It seems unlikely that Lian Da would have it. Moratory Rex arguably may have had it and lost it through all the physical trauma. Luger we haven't seen enough of, and he's been vaporized, so we don't know. It seems unlikely Julie Sue would have it, just given from her outfit, again like Lian Da. Kragok, who knows, because we never really saw him outside of his creepy Grim Reaper robes. Really, I don't know for sure. I would like to think it's there, because I think it would be more interesting that way, stylistically speaking, because then you have, both sides have the ring, so you can't say the good guys have the marking while the bad guys don't have the marking. It would be an interesting way of saying, the ring is the sign of Dimitri and Edmund, so which side is truly in the right? Well, they both have the ring, so what does the ring actually mean, if it means anything? But in terms of actual canon answer, I don't know. I think it might be a case-by-case basis. Dragwolf asks, I have a question. Well, of course you. What are the chances of Nick appearing in any upcoming Sonic Universe arcs with Mighty and Ray? Again, this kind of skates the line, but this is not the right kind of question because now you're putting characters together in a almost specific scenario. That one, it skates the line, but chances are slim to none because I don't like Nick. Mr. Saxon asks, how early on did you decide to begin reintroducing all the old Freedom Fighter groups for the post-Iron Dominion era? Actually, this is an old idea I've had. We've kind of wanted to reintroduce the old teams for a while now, and we were just tripped up by what stories were published and what got approved and yada yada yada. There was a pitch I made for number 200 that would have moved that timetable up significantly, but that pitch was rejected in favor of the Iron Dominion pitch, and it got retooled and such, so now it's the pitch that's coming up for 225. But the Freedom Fighter teams are already showing up, so really, there's no way of telling what plans are going to move when. I've got a ton of ideas all on backlog, and I'll just use them whenever I get the chance. Lewanut asks, did Regina have any genuine affection for Snively? I'm not answering that. You'll have to find out yourselves. Chaos Jam asks, what brought about the decision for the retirement of Sleuth Dog? I personally liked his growth and usage under your writing as the Destructix team leader. Thank you very much. And Sleuth was fun because he was so smart he almost broke the fourth wall. He understood what was going on around him. The problem is he was a really boring character design-wise and power set-wise. His only real power was that he was smart, and he looked like a Scruff McGruff ripoff. So when you take that and put it in with the rest of the Destructix, he really, really stands out as just being blah. When we had the opportunity to bring Fiona in, she was just as smart, just as capable, but she was far more interesting in the dynamic of how she relates to the other characters, that I felt it better to put her in the Sleuth spot and just gently move Sleuth off stage. He's done his part, he's, impressed a handful of people, yourself included, and now he's done. There's really nothing else to do with him. Alright, we're going to wrap it up there, and we'll finish off page 3 and a short update after this.